Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. Excited to bring you the news. This is a big report from the southern border. We're going to talk a little bit in numbers, but also some really big impacts that are coming and some ways in which they're creating more government overreach. And I'm not even talking about with the migrants themselves. I'm talking about with American citizens. And beyond, giving $450,000 to families, which Biden knows nothing about. And it's just classic. These people lie so bad. It's absolutely unfathomable. But he acts like he doesn't know anything. But it's not only that, but, we're paying for their hotel rooms, their flights, all of that. But that's not what I'm even going to be talking about today. This report is much bigger. It's much more severe. I've got two sources for this. Before I get into it, I want to tell you real quickly, go to lumberjacklogicshow.com, get some of the great merchandise, hats, hoodies, t-shirts. I've got a great one that plays off the song, Take This Job and Shove It, except it's different and you're really going to like it. Anyways, my other sponsors are there too. All those links are down below. Thanks so much for supporting the show. And I want to thank my sponsors so much, My Pillow, Freedom Hill Coffee, and My Patriot Supply. I'll talk a little bit about those at the end for you. But anyhow, this is huge. Out of the Washington Examiner, more than 283,000 migrants who crossed the border from Mexico this past year were let into the United States, despite the Biden administration's claims that it was immediately turning away adults and families, the Washington Examiner has learned. The extremely high number of releases at the southern border, based on unreleased Border Patrol data shared with the Washington Examiner by Representative Henry Cuellar, means that 1 in 6 of the 1.66 million people who walked across between land ports of entry were let go directly by the Border Patrol between October 1st, 2020 and September 30th. Okay? Now, 95,000 of those people were untracked, but this is where it all goes, and this is the big part of it. This out of Real Clear Investigations, how migrant surge at the border fuels massive American ODs from tiny grains of this killer drug. You are going to see that the cartels are orchestrating the border surge so they can get this stuff across at different points, and then how the Biden administration is using it to fund more government programs because of need. But what they're really doing is causing American deaths. And they're so callous that they're causing these deaths, then not caring, and then saying there's this need when it all could be stopped. Okay, this is pathetic. The Mexican and Guatemalan presidents say that Biden is creating the impression of open borders. That's why so many people are going there. So for those on the liberal side that want to say, it's just all humanitarian. No, if it were humanitarian, this wouldn't be happening. And we should be concerned about American citizens first. And that's who we are designed to protect. This is a nation. A nation without borders is just land, folks, okay? Okay, so by Vince Bielski, Real Clear Investigations. On a September afternoon, Alyssa Solario wondered why her energetic young brother hadn't emerged from his bedroom in their Sacramento, California home. When she opened his door, she saw 23-year-old Mikhail leaning back on his bed with his legs dangling over the side. She rushed to her brother and shook him, but to no avail. He was dead. A counterfeit pharmaceutical pill laced with illicit fentanyl had killed him. Mikhail Toredo was one of an estimated 93,331 overdose fatalities in the United States last year, an all-time high. Nearly 5 times the murder rate. The deadly overdose toll was primarily caused by fentanyl, a highly legal synthetic opioid. It's manufactured mostly by Mexican cartels with ingredients imported from China and then smuggled over the southwest U.S. border. Fentanyl has been arriving in larger quantities each year since at least 2016. This year, the surge is out of control. The cartels, get this, are taking advantage of law enforcement weakness and policy failures to smuggle record amounts of the lethal drug in, according to interviews with half a dozen current and former drug and immigration agents. While a lack of screening technology to find contraband at ports of entry and an inept U.S.-Mexico campaign to cripple the cartels are long-standing issues, there's also a new one: the flood of migrants across the border that the Biden administration has done little to stop. Former law enforcement officials say the cartels are orchestrating the surge, overwhelming the capacity of agents to pursue drug smugglers. They can freely enter Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California carrying fentanyl, while agents are diverted to the time-consuming duty of apprehending and processing immigrants. But the problem is they're not even processing them now. They're letting them straight out the back door because there's so many and into the U.S. with no record, okay? 95,000 untracked from my previous report. Frustrated border agents and their union have been calling on Congress to send reinforcements, but help is not on the way. The administration's upcoming budget request doesn't include funding for more Customs and Border Protection agents. In September, tensions boiled over after President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris lashed out at agents on horseback in response to videos showing them blocking Haitians crossing the border. Harris compared the incident to the mistreatment of slaves, an inflammatory accusation that the union strongly denied, saying no migrants were hit or hurt. But here's what's going on, folks. The administration is pivoting away from law enforcement and embracing a public health approach to the fentanyl crisis. I want you people to think in terms of, these public health officials. What do they have in common? They're mostly liberal, right? So you deal with all these social workers and all that, and they all go through liberal orthodoxy. But here's the thing. They wouldn't have jobs if we kept letting all these drugs in, okay? The administration is pivoting away from law enforcement and embracing public health approach. It is proposed spending, get this, $11.2 billion, a huge increase over last year, to expand substance abuse prevention, treatment, and recovery service. Fewer addicts would mean fewer deaths from fentanyl, and fewer addicts would be created by less entering. Okay, you guys get this, right? So what do liberals always do? They allow a problem or create a problem so that then they can cite the problem to say we need more money to solve this problem, to then expand government, to get a larger base of people working for the government who would become voters for more government spending. Not only that, they also want to take these people. Sadly, this is all very sad stuff, folks. I mean, their mind. Just think about how this works. Instead of actually taking these people and stopping the drugs from entering the country by getting a secure border and then not having these people die. I mean, this is sad. But curbing opioid addiction is very challenging. The vast majority of substance abusers avoid treatment, according to researchers, and only about 1/3 of those receiving long-term medical care fully recover. These success stories, however, will be offset if the supply of fentanyl continues to boom and fuel more addiction. Exactly what I was just saying. How do you do this? You stop the drugs from coming in. Drug treatment is very important, but you can't treat someone in a morgue who just died from fentanyl poisoning. It's too late, says Derek Maltz, the former director of DEA's Special Operations Division, which primarily targets cartels. We have to vigorously attack the production labs in Mexico and increase border security on our side. That's how you do it. You got to keep them from coming in. Cartels have turned to fentanyl because the super potent powder is cheap to produce, making it more profitable than heroin, says Eric Triana, an assistant special agent in charge at the DEA division in New York. Two of Mexico's most powerful crime groups, the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation cartels, manufacture the synthetic drug in rustic clandestine labs. In the U.S., the powder is mixed with heroin to stretch supplies. To boost sales, the cartels have more recently increased production of the counterfeit pharmaceuticals. They are made with fentanyl but labeled to look exactly like legitimate medications such as Percocet, Vicodin, and Xanax. The fake pills, which are promoted and sold on social media platforms as real pharmaceuticals. Hey, Zucker, Bucky's, Marky, Mark, did you hear? They're selling this stuff on your platform. Maybe you want to look into that. Instead of trying to suppress conservative speech. You criking moron. You disingenuous twit. Anyways, they have brought the dangers of fentanyl to mainstream America with victims belonging to every age, class, and racial group. Nationwide, DEA agents have seized an unprecedented 9.5 million fake pills. Some portion of that total in every U.S. state is the first 9 months of 2021. Or more than the last 2 years combined, that prompted this agency to issue a rare public safety alert in September. It is absolutely unreal, folks. And I'm going to go on with a couple more things, but a lot of this, I'm going to link these articles and allow you to read this on your own. But it all goes down to this diversion game at the border. They operate openly as if they were the Mexican military. Jalisco New Generation Cartel, which has recently expanded operations, even slaps a CGNG logo in big letters on its military-style trucks and uniforms as part of a show of force. There's a picture of that here in the article you got to see. I want you guys to look into this more. The thing we need to do is we need to, continue to let I know some of you don't have good elected representatives, but we need to continue to let them know. But also, I think it would make good sense to send some correspondence to the agencies themselves. And I am going to get Dave Jose on for a show here coming up. I want to talk to him about maybe there's a number of issues, but people are dying from this one. This is really a tragic situation, but it all goes back to the Joker in the White House. Okay, get a Joker, get a clown in, and expect a circus, folks. What we have is a circus. This administration is the most inept, corrupt administration we have ever seen in American politics. Okay, hey, real quickly, mypillow.com. Oh, I love all of these travel pillows. They are the best. And those Giza sheets, I know I keep talking about them, folks, but I never knew sheets could be such a big deal. They're great Christmas presents, okay? If you want to get something really, really nice for your spouse, get them the gift of good sleep on silky smooth but easy to breathe sheets. The Giza sheets at mypillow.com. Enter promo code Lumberjack, save up to 66%, and make sure you check out the great new merch at lumberjacklogicshow.com. Also, Freedom Hill Coffee. I keep talking about getting him on, but I am going to. I just put a call into him. They support veteran causes. They haven't gotten woke like Black Rifle, and you can save 10% there with promo code Lumberjack. And then, of course, I've got an affiliate link down below. It doesn't save you any money. It does credit the show. I would appreciate it if you use it. You can not only get freeze-dried food, but a whole host of other things. I mean, they've got solar-powered packs, batteries, all kinds of things in case of emergency. And the food is just good. Like, even if you're going on a camping trip or something like that, that freeze-dried food works out really well. Thank you so much for listening to Lumberjack Logic. Remember to subscribe to the show if you haven't. I love you, folks. Peace out.